Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to another episode of Frail Conversations. Today, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite chapters in the entire series. This chapter, I'm not going to necessarily say it's near and dear to my heart or anything like that, but for one, this is one of my favorite chapters, writing, and just the entire topic and the concept of everything that I cover, everything that I go in on is, I don't know, I just love it. It's just my favorite chapter. And that chapter is called Respect. You can find it in Frail too, but it's a very, very important topic, and it's something that, as men, we need to discuss. As a culture, we need to discuss, and potentially as a society, but as a whole, respect is something that really, 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 really needs to be addressed, because respect is, in my opinion, I feel like respect is that quintessential piece that is the make or break moment in masculinity. It is the make or break moment in understanding masculinity, in embodying it, or letting it fall by the wayside, or even misunderstanding it. Because respect is a power. Respect is the essence. Respect is an energy in its own. You know what I'm saying? And too many times we disregard respect, and we misinterpret it, and we even, use it in the wrong, in the wrong light, in the wrong perspective, in the wrong dynamic, and because we're using it wrong, it causes masculinity to come off a way that it shouldn't, and it causes masculinity to be suppressed. Not only suppressed, but completely deteriorated. You feel what I'm saying? Because through what we deem respect and what our societal construct has established as to what respect really is, we will alter our masculinity. So if you already read the chapter, then you know which way I'm gonna go with that, and what I actually mean in that regard. But if you haven't, no worries. I mean, I'm not going as deep as I did in the book, but like I said, this is one of my favorite chapters, and this is a conversation that really needs to be had amongst the community, amongst the people. Like, there's a very important dialogue that can be found here, no matter the generation, and just that as a whole helps. Like, respect sets a tone for a generational gap. You know what I mean? And it keeps us from truly, how can I say it? It keeps us from truly learning masculinity and tapping into its truest essence. But before I get started, because I don't want to dive deep into it, don't forget to follow me on my social media outlets. Just sing _ that's my main page. Be sure to follow the Just Sing podcast for the official releases, the drops, and everything that is related to the podcast. And you can find that at the Just Sing podcast. If you're into the plant-based lifestyle, you can follow me at the Hitting It Raw program, and you can be sure to get my book, Hitting It Raw, Living a Raw Plant-Based Lifestyle for Life. And lastly, as I said before, if you haven't already, get your copies of So Frail, A Reality to Black Male Masculinity, and So Frail 2, Toxic Femininity. These two books are pretty much for right now, because it's going to be a 3-part series, but these 2 books are pretty much the tone as to what the So Frail conversations are really going to be about, in the grand scheme of things. And if you just want some dope ass designs and shit to rock around, hoodies, tees, crew necks, cups, coffee mugs, whatever it is that you want as far as merchandise, you can visit Just Sing's merch, where I put all of my own personally crafted designs on that outlet. You can get them to support the movement. But without any further ado, like I said, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to dive straight into respect. Oh yeah, and don't forget to visit IamJustSing.com. There, you can get all things Just Sing. You want to add the So Frail series to your library? Visit IamJustSing.com. You want to learn how to master the market for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustSing.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustSing.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You ever want to just chat with Scene about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustSeen.com. So just take a quick peek into my world and see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it. You will never see it unless you visit IamJustSeen.com. All right, welcome back. And as I said, without any further ado, we're going to hop straight into it. If you read the books and if you know me, you know I like to define shit first. I like to give you a solid definition as to what the hell I'm talking about before I talk about it, because I don't want any confusion, any blurred lines, or any, what do you mean? Like, I'm telling you what I mean. Like, you feel what I'm saying? I want you to understand that. So before we go in, I'm going to define respect as it's defined from the dictionary. I don't like whether it's Webster's or whoever the fuck got the dictionary popping, Oxford, all of the motherfuckers. But from the definition of respect, we get that respect is a feeling or understanding that someone or something is important and should be treated in an appropriate way. That definition is very, very powerful. And I feel like when it comes to respect, we look at it from the wrong light. You feel what I'm saying? We look at it from a very wrong light. And I don't know if it's because, you know, we want, I don't know what the fuck it is, to be honest with you. I'm not even going to try to justify it. I'm just going to give my perspective. So respect is very powerful, especially when it comes to men. You feel what I'm saying? Respect is that very quintessential piece that can either transition us into masculinity or transition us into emasculation. You feel what I'm saying? And I say that on the strength that the first aspect, and I'll touch on this a little bit later, but I'll bring it up now. You know, the conceptualization that respect is earned and not given. You feel me? That's a very, very powerful piece, and I'll explain why. Because first off, we got to understand that when it comes to respect, I mentioned this in the book, and when it comes to respect, I need y'all to take this away. Respect is for men what love is for women. All right? I'm going to say that one more time. Respect is for men what love is for women. That is a very, very powerful piece to understand, because we have to, while we're in a cultural society, like, I'm all for the uplifting of women. I'm all down for women and everything like that. There's, you know, I don't support that movement, but I fucks with women 100%. So I get the concept. So it's like we're in a realm where we're continually saying love women, you know, honor women, do all this, but we're rarely teaching the aspect of respect. You know, and again, as I said, it's because as it's noted, respect is for men, what love is for women, but respect is earned. It isn't given. But love should be defaulted. You know, this is why I personally feel that respect is to be defaulted as well, because the two principles are the same. So I get, you know, that women, you know, or men, you know, when you're raising a child and everything like that, you're like, yo, respect them and everything. But growing up as boys, we rarely receive respect from the beginning. We get love, you know, for the most part. You know, that's a whole different conversation regarding that, because it could be coddling too, but that's for another day. But we don't receive respect because it's under the guise that respect is earned, not given. You feel what I mean? And because respect is earned and not given, you have to ask yourself, how is your masculinity going to be affected when you understand that dynamic? Because now the things that you're going to do to earn respect, they can range in a lot of things. You feel me? They can range from a lot of things. And within this range in the spectrum that we're now operating from, in our means to get respect, we can put our masculinity in jeopardy. We can put our integrity in jeopardy. We can put our essence as a man, our essence as a being in jeopardy solely because we're looking for respect. And for the parallelism, as I said, respect is for men what love is to women. When women are seeking love, if they've never had it before, there's a lot of shit a woman would do and she'll put up with and she'll go through just to say she loves somebody, or just to know that somebody loves her, just to say that she has love. You know, growing up, I used to hear it, you know, from girls. I used to hear it from women say things like, at least I got somebody. Like they'll be arguing with a woman or whatnot. They go back and forth at, but it's like the icing on the cake, though. I'm about to stick the nail in the coffin. You feel me? Type shit is when she says, but at least I got somebody. You feel me? So now let's take that to the next level, because women will stay in abusive relationships. They'll stay in manipulative relationships. They'll stay in damaging relationships if they feel that there's love there, or whatever perception of love that they think they have. You feel what I'm saying? This goes back to a previous podcast episode. I don't quite remember which one, where I was saying that when we internalize pain as love, if there's no hurt, we can't feel love. So if a woman is willing to put up with anything just to say she has love, the amount of hurt that has to come with that, with pain being love, comes at a significant price. So running, like I said, with the parallelism, let's look at respect. You feel me? As men, the shit that we do for respect is fucking crazy. You feel me? Respect goes from, you know, respect can range from putting on a dress to killing a motherfucker that looks just like you. Just for respect. You feel me? Just to earn that shit. But is it really respect that we're earning? You feel me? Is it really respect that we're earning? This is why I say it should be defaulted as opposed to earned. Because, you know, I get it. We say all the time, you know, if, you know, I look at it like black men are respected conditionally. You feel me? And I'm speaking on black men because I'm black. Like, fuck. It's real simple. It could all be so simple. But when it comes to us, like, our respect has to be earned, but it has conditions to it. You know, we're respected, you know, when we reach a level of academia. We're respected when, you know, we put in a certain amount of work, or we're respected, you know, for frivolous shit sometimes. You feel what I'm saying? But that's as a black man. You feel me? That's as a black man. And before we become black men, we're black boys. You feel me? So what are we respected as? What are we respected for? Because a lot of the things that we are respected for as black men, we won't be respected for as black boys. We'll be disrespected for. So this goes into the point where I hear people say all the time, you know, well, black men will be respected if, you know, we wore suit and ties, you know, shit like that, or if we, you know, became doctors, lawyers, and all of this shit. Like, that's a delayed reaction. You feel me? Let's just say everything goes according to plan, whatever plan that you have. Everything goes exactly as you want it to go in life. You graduate from high school at 18. You go to college, you graduate at 22. You go to law school, you go to med school, you go whatever. You finish everything you're doing by 27, 28 years old. You dig what I'm saying? And then, okay, now I have my respect or whatnot. I got my degree. I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. I'm a dentist. I'm whatever the case may be. I'm a fucking superstar captain general type motherfucking army, whatever. You feel me? You're at the top of that. You're at the top of your peak, right? So let's say everything goes normal. You do this by the time you're 28 years old. That's 28 years that you had to work to gain respect. It's 28 years your respect had to be earned. 28 years that you had to put in to earn your respect. You feel what I'm saying? So what are we doing with the little boy? You know, what are we doing with the boy who's, you know, who doesn't play sports? You feel me? Because that's a way that we get our respect. You know, we play sports and shit like that. We do the cliche shit that, you know, supposedly makes you manly. That's where our respect comes from. And it comes from a falsified image. You know, we have a certain standard image of what masculinity is, and our respect has to be granted through that. This is why it's very, very tricky. This whole new masculinity shit that motherfuckers is popping out with, and the whole, you're using black faces and you know, certain types of influential black men to justify the new masculinity and shit. That's very, very tricky, because you're showing that the parallelism between they're being respected for this shit. You feel me? So the little black boy, he sees all of this shit going around him. He sees the athlete, he sees the rapper, he sees the singer, you feel me? He sees the doctor, he sees the lawyer. Rarely. You feel me? Because the doctor and the lawyer is in the hospital. They're in the law firm. They're in these different places. You feel me? But the actor, the rapper, the basketball player, the football player, they're on TV every week. I see them all the time. So it's easier for me to have that vision to aspire to be them than it is to be that doctor, that lawyer, whatever. But the defining factor is the education piece. You feel me? It's the mentality, it's the thought process, it's the level of intelligence. Most of us are not respected for being intellects until college. You know, I'm gonna say that again. Most of us are not respected until college. Like I'm at the stage of my life where my intelligence is appreciated. You know, my intelligence is respected. You feel what I'm saying? That wasn't the case when I was a kid. That wasn't the case when I was a boy. That wasn't the case when I was young. You feel what I'm saying? Did I give a fuck? No. Because, you feel me? My background was, in addition to being intelligent, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't in the streets, but I was around street people. So you kind of pick up their tendencies. You feel what I'm saying? I wasn't a gangbanger, but I was around gangsters. So you kind of pick up their tendencies. You feel what I mean? I wasn't a drug dealer, but I was around drug dealers, so I picked up their tendencies. So I had that essence within me as, you know, a part of my swag and shit. So it's like I exuded that. So the intelligence factor never really had to show. You know, it showed in my grades when I was in class and shit. Like, but other than that, I never put that effort into it to say this is what I'm going to get respect for. But, you know, it's a delayed reaction, you know. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, and I'm using intelligence because intelligence is a quintessential piece of masculinity. If you've read So Frail 1, I use the examples of intelligence, rationale, and objectivity as main focal points of masculinity. Intelligence being one of the top pieces. You feel what I'm saying? And so when it comes to intelligence, if I'm not respected for that shit, why would I strive to be it? If I'm being called a nerd and I'm being called, you know, a brainiac, and you know what I'm saying, I'm being called a know-it-all for knowing shit, and they're using it in a condescending way, I'm not being respected for that. Therefore, I don't want to do it anymore. You feel me? I don't want to be in that realm. I don't want to operate from that perspective anymore. So the standards in which we set, you know, for what masculinity is, we got to be real careful that we're not, you know, we're not separating the reality and eliminating the possibility for the young black boys to accept that being intelligent is a reality. Now, I'm not saying athletes aren't. I'm not saying rappers and singers aren't. You feel me? I'm not saying drug dealers aren't. I'm not saying these people aren't intelligent. However, the structured expression of intelligence, you know, good grades in school, things like that, like we don't see that, and we don't get that respect and that appreciation until college. We don't get that until after we've finished all of this shit we done put in 22, 23 years of living before we can say, oh, I'm respected for this. You feel what I'm saying? First time I met my father, I was 11 years old, right? That was the first time I ever met him. I'm a natural thinker. I'm a natural scholar. That's my shit. That's my realm. You feel me? Where my homies were natural athletes. You feel me? I wasn't able to play ball like that. You feel me? But I could outthink a motherfucker. You feel me? I can keep my grades up. Natural. I can do that shit. You feel me? First time I met my father, the first thing that he called me was a nerd. You feel me? I remember that shit like it was yesterday. You feel me? That's the first thing he called me. So it's like, when we look at masculinity, our mothers teach our sisters, they teach the daughters, they teach our girls what love is. A man is supposed to teach a son what respect is. If my father is not giving me the respect for being an intellect, if my father is not giving me the respect for that, then I'm not forced to, you know, especially if I'm trying to be him in some way, shape, or form. I want to emulate him. I want him in my life. I want this, you know, I'm going to strive to be that. You feel me? I was able to deal with the motherfuckers in school calling me a nerd. Like, bitch, you just mad because I'm smarter than you. The fuck? You mad because I'm styling on you. You feel me? So it was easier to combat that. It's not easier to combat that when it's your father, or somebody that you're trying to seek approval from. You feel me? So that point is a level of respect and a deviation from masculinity, because in the same token, look at our comedians, look at our actors. You feel me? Look at sports players. Sports players can go through school and they can continue playing sports for the C average, but I can't get into college without an A. Now, granted, I'm making a hyperbole with this shit, because you can definitely get into a college. You can get in college with a C average and shit like that. It's not difficult anymore because they want your loan money. But whatever. You feel me? You can still get into college with that. But at the same time, going into college, knowing that now you're in the realm where you'll be respected for your mind. But I never had a chance to sustain it. You feel me? So I played sports. I played all of these things, and I never there's student athletes who will be passed because they were star students. You feel me? How many motherfuckers can be passed just because they're a scholar? Oh, I know you're intelligent, so I'm just going, no, you got to earn that shit. You feel what I'm saying? So the hierarchy is different. The respect is different. My respect is earned from what I'm doing on the field. But it's not respected in what I can do with a book, what I can do with information until later down the line. You feel me? So this is what I'm saying. When it comes to that regard of, where black men are respected when they're in prestigious places, when they're in prestigious points of life. The doctors, the lawyers, the motherfuckers is doing speaking on a rate, they're respected for that. But that's a delayed reaction. We're in an instant gratification society. You feel me? I need a way to get respect now. So which ways am I going to get respect? Because I have to pay attention to the media. I have to pay attention to what my parents respect right now. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why it's you got to be careful, what you expose your children to at a young age. Because that's where, especially our boys, because that's where we're seeing where we're supposed to get respect from. You feel what I'm saying? If mama wants me to be a good man growing up, you know what I'm saying? She wants me to, I need you to respect women. I need you to do this. But all the music that she listens to degrades women. You feel me? The motherfucking guys she sees as sex symbols that are, the celebrities and everything like that. I get it. It's a fantasy. You play into that role, but it's that's where we're envisioning the respect comes from. So we're going to do it. We're going to try to go down that route. You feel what I'm saying? But it's how many people really respect the thinker while he's learning to think? Not after he's already mastered the conceptualization of thought. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why I'm that is a very dangerous position to be in, because you can't tell a young black boy that, and it's on some real shit. It's easier, in essence, as far as hard work and everything, it's easier to become a doctor than it is to become a number one draft pick. Hell, it's easier to become a doctor. It's easier to become a lawyer than it is to become a pro athlete. You dig what I'm saying? How many motherfuckers play sports, but how many motherfuckers are on a pro team? You dig what I'm saying? But every hospital has a team of how many doctors? How many nurses? How many, when you look at there's lawyers, even if you can become a court appointed lawyer. You feel what I'm saying? So it's but that level of respect is still there just because you got lawyer on your shit, just because you got doctor on your shit. You feel what I'm saying? And that is something that our boys watch, our boys learn, that's our boys internalize, and we don't even see it. So it's when it comes to our masculinity, we have to start defaulting respect to our sons, defaulting respect into what their essence is naturally exuding. You feel what I mean? Into what their essence is naturally exuding. And when it comes to that, our standard has to be changed. You feel me? We put respect into a 3-tier system that involves 3 things, with respect as one of them: money, power, and respect. You feel what I'm saying? At 29 years old, I've heard this in music all my life. Money, power, respect, the key to life. First you get the money, then you get the power. You feel me? That's usually the way it is. Then you get the respect. So that is one imagery that we set. Another imagery is a man is respected when he has a lot of women. You feel what I mean? A man is respected when he got a lot of women. That's another aspect that we pay attention to, that we're able to see. So while we're seeing what's being respected, this is a natural thing. This is, again, running with the parallelism. We look at the way girls are getting ass shots like crazy. Everybody getting a new ass and all of that shit. Why? Or you think it's just because of her? Because this is what she wants to do? Nah, this is the standard of love that she's now seeking. You feel me? She grew up as a little girl understanding that the respect that women, the love that her father or the male figures in her life gave women was through video vixen shit, porn star, shit like that. You feel what I'm saying? She internalized that shit. You feel me? She goes to school, her crush, the boy that she likes. You feel me? What does he internalize? What is his standard? He likes the girl with the big butt. He like, you feel me? What's the song? Fucking Problems by ASAP Rocky, 2 Chainz. Like, I love bad bitches, that's my problem. You know how many women are now bad bitches? You feel me? Art imitates reality. So this song came out prior. So it's like, and so now we ask, like, what came first? The bad bitch or the desire for a bad bitch? You feel what I'm saying? The bad bitch is an evolutionary thing. You get what I'm saying? It's an evolutionary thing. But it all begins with what that attraction was and what the love was. You feel what I mean? What we showed what love is. Because our first template is what our parents show us. You feel what I'm saying? Or what our opposite, what our natural opposite is in the world truly embodies. So, like I said, if she has this crush and this the guy that she likes or whatnot, and he likes, I only like bad bitches. I like women with fat asses. I like women with this. You feel me? If she has a fat ass, checkmate, she starts to think she's good. You feel me? I like women who's gonna give it up. I like women who's gonna fuck. Like, bam, bam, bam. I'm willing to start fucking, to be with this person. You feel what I'm saying? She starts to sculpt herself and mold herself according to what this sets. So now we get older, and now it's like, it's getting crazy as fuck because the women are now looking for love and shit. And now they're getting all of these crazy ass shots and Botox and all of this shit. And now they not working out. So you feel me? They legs look like two, they look like two dumb lollipops. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, that's another thing. I'm not gonna get on that. I'm talking about respect, but I'm running the parallelism because when we look at the women that are doing it now, they were once little girls who looked up to or who sought love from men who had this particular mentality. And now they're doing it. You feel what I'm saying? So the same shit happens when you understand that respect is for men what love is to women. That men, as men, what we're going to do for respect is whatever we see manifesting itself as getting respected. You feel what I mean? So it's like when we look at, we look at the comedian thing, right? It was few and far in between when I was coming up, when I was young, that a man would wear a dress. It was funny. It was funny then. Now it's automatic. As a comedian, this is what I do. You feel me? But again, this is my generation is slightly younger who have accepted this, because now we have to look up to the Tyler Perrys. We looked up to the Martins. We looked up to the Wayans brothers. You know what I'm saying? We started to see that. For them, it was comedy, but it was like, oh, they're getting respect. They're being respected for this shit. You feel me? But why so we pick it up because this is a level of respect. You feel what I'm saying? I can't play sports, but I can make people laugh. So if I'm gonna make people laugh, this is how I'm gonna act. I'm gonna act as if I'm gonna act as a woman. You feel me? Now it's like there's a new age wave. You feel me? Of the new comedians. A lot of the men are imitating women. Like, they're getting their comedic standpoint off of imitating women, and it's getting their respect a lot faster. You feel what I'm saying? But some of them are getting stuck in that role. That's a different conversation. But some of them are getting stuck in that role, and it's based off of the respect, because now they're getting it. They're getting it. You look at the athlete. You feel me? And this is kind of going to segue into one of very next episodes of So Frail Conversations, but which is going to be warriors, thinkers, and messengers. But we look at the athlete, right? Athletes get the girls. Athletes got the cars. Like that's the thing. The money, cars, clothes, and hoes. That is the standard of respect. If you get all four, you can have it. But it's the route that you're going to take to get all four. You dig what I'm saying? It's the route that you're going to take to get all four. 3 is good. Even 1 is okay because I'm going to get respect and I'm going to stay in that realm. So we look at the athletes, our parents, our fathers who are like, they watch sports. They like shit like this, and it's like, okay, cool. You're respecting that person, You respect that person enough that you give them 100% of your undivided attention for a certain amount of time. You feel me? So now I got to figure out a way to make this happen. You feel me? I'm going to get that respect, but rarely is the intellect, respected. You feel me? And I get that people say, well, I encourage my child to get good grades in school. I encourage. No, is it really encouraging or are you invoking fear? Because think about this. If your child's playing sports, right? I'm going to get into a deeper part of this in a second. If your child is playing sports and let's say your child averages 30 points a game. Now, granted, there's little boys. Ain't nobody dropping 30. But I'm using this for metaphor's sake. Your child is dropping 30 points a game. That's what they're averaging, right? This particular game, you feel what I'm saying? Let's say a particular game happens. They have an off day. They drop 12. You feel me? What happens when you get home? You tell them, oh, you just had an off day. It was a game that, it was a bad game, whatever the case may be. It'll be okay. You feel me? They're still feeling that respect from you. But let them come home with a bad grade. They get put on punishment. You feel me? They get put on punishment. Their privileges are taken away. Shit happens to them in a negative light. That's not respect. That's invoking fear. You're invoking fear. If I don't maintain these grades, if I don't operate from this dynamic, I have to run the risk of a fear tactic happening. Whether I get put on punishment, whether I get physically beaten, whatever the case may be. I knew a lady that told me a story about how she was much older than me, but she told about how her dad used to whoop her brother because he couldn't keep up in school. So every time he would come home with a bad grade, it's not funny, but it's like the situation gets humorous. But like every time he would come home with a bad grade or something, the dad would whoop him. The dad would beat him. You feel me? It wasn't until diagnosis they found out that the son was dyslexic. So you're whooping your dyslexic son and you don't even know what his problem is. He can't perform because he can't understand. Because to learn, you need to be able to read. But I can't read the words because I'm dyslexic. But I can't tell you that I can't read. I can't tell you why I can't read. Oh, you can read. You can read. You just, but you never took the time to understand. Like the kid was dyslexic. He couldn't read, really. But it wasn't until the diagnosis was happening to understand. It was like when it was broken, like, why can't you read? Well, the letters do some fucked up shit when I'm looking at them. Oh, shit, you're dyslexic. Yo, Pop, he's dyslexic. Oh, damn, I've been whooping your ass all of these years because you've been telling me that you can't read and you really couldn't. You feel me? And I'm not saying this is the case because everybody ain't dyslexic. Some people just go to school and they do whatever they're going to do. But what I'm saying is we don't respect intelligence. We invoke fear in it to get the intelligence to show. You feel what I'm saying? If we were putting in that same work in that same dynamic to get our black boys to see that, they will strive for it more. You feel me? But it's what we see in the home. What we see in the home that grants respect that makes us go out in the world and do it too. You feel what I'm saying? Hey, huddle up, broskies, because it's time to elevate. The secret to evolving masculinity is to define it, understand it, then apply it. The So Frail series defines masculinity as the spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment of the essence of analysis and deconstruction. From this definition, I explain how masculinity is not just the hat that we wear, but it's the essence that we must exude through application. If you enjoy the So Frail conversations, why not read the books that inspired them? Visit IamJustSeen.com right now to add the So Frail series to your library to get a better understanding of what masculinity really is. I promise, after reading So Frail, you will never look at masculinity the same again. So that's the dynamic for the athlete in what from the educator, but from the athlete's perspective. You feel me? I get the respect because I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna play the sports. I'm gonna do all of this. I'm gonna get the girls. You feel me? I'm gonna get the scholarships. I'm gonna get all of that. You feel me? They're gonna give me shit. I'm gonna earn everything. It's like, yo, I'm earning it. But it's, it's given to me. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like that standard of what gets me respect because I'm seeing it in the home. I'm seeing it on TV. I'm seeing all these things. I don't see like what fucking kid is watching Grey's Anatomy? You feel me? That's some shit I shouldn't be watching because I shouldn't understand it because it's rated a certain level. So the parents aren't going to sit, you feel me? They're not going to sit there, kid, hey, watch Grey's Anatomy or hey, watch this doc. There are no doctor shows for kids. There are no shows like that for kids. You dig what I'm saying? It starts off teenage years. There's, you know what I'm saying? So it's little things like that. But I can watch sports all day long. I can watch comedy specials all day long. You feel what I'm saying? But then I'm watching my family laugh. I'm watching my family be entertained. I'm watching my family continually like showing me that they respect these people. So that's what I'm going to start to emulate. Feel me? So now when you find a kid who's naturally humorous, who can make people laugh, they go to school to become a class clown. I ain't gonna hold you. I was a class clown. I was a class clown like a motherfucker. Like, you feel me? But see, you got to pay attention to the level of comedy that the child understands. There's several forms. Two that I'm just going to use in particular are the satirical comedy and the buffoonery form of comedy. Buffoonery is typically what we operate under. What we particularly see. And what I mean by that is the people that, the foot shuffling, head scratching type. You feel me? But then you have the satirical comedy that's like they teaching you something. They're just using, like, you feel me? It's different levels of the comedy. So it's like, as this is being expressed, this is what I'm getting my respect from. You feel what I'm saying? This is where I'm getting my respect. So it's like, all right, how do I incorporate that? So now I'm gonna go to school. That's my playground. That's my immediate round. I'm gonna operate. Whatever I see getting respect at home, I'm gonna try it. I can't play sports. You feel me? So I'm not gonna try to play sports. I'm gonna do what I do. You dig what I'm saying? Or I'm a thinker or whatever the case may be, but it's like whatever is getting me my respect, I'm going to do that. Not only that, whatever is attracting, you feel me? Just the same metaphor with the young girls, whatever's attracting, what I'm attracted to, I'm going to do that shit too. And I'm going to do that shit 100%. We be like, yo, you showing off. Yeah, I'm going to get the girl. I'm going to do like, if she laughs at this shit, okay, cool. That's what it's going to be. I'm going to nurture that shit. I'm going to be funny as fuck. That's what I'm going to do. Or if I know that the girls I'm going to get the girls because of this. This is, these are the things that happen. It's like, because this is the way we set up the respect. And with respect being what boys naturally desire, this is what the case is. But then here's where it becomes dark. Because then you have people who respect the street life, not realizing that they fear it. And a lot of people have made fear and respect synonymous, as I just explained with the example from the education part of getting bad grades and getting the fear invoked in you to keep getting good grades, as opposed to you thinking you're respected and by encouraging. No, sometimes your child just can't do it. They're not stupid or anything like that. But I talk about that in So Frail too, how this education system is not designed for masculinity. It's not designed for masculinity to thrive in any way, shape, or form. But that's a whole different topic that I'll have to have a conversation on down the line. You feel me? So when that comes into play, the whole fear tactic is what the street life has invoked under the guise that it's respect. You feel what I'm saying? So I can't play sports because I can't keep my grades up enough to play sports, whatever the case may be, because as a masculine being, I don't learn from feminine perspective, but that's what I'm being taught all my life. So some of us shut down a long time ago. You feel me? But that plays its role. You feel me? That really plays its role in a whole grand scheme of things. So now we're incorporating that aspect to it. I'm not funny. You feel me? I might be a little funny, but now I'm disrupting and interrupting class. You feel me? Because it's like I'm doing what I would do at home. I'm doing what I do at home that, it's like I'm doing what I see at home gets respect. It's little subtle nuances that we rarely pay attention to that happens for our boys. And, so it's like the street life. I've been taught the street life all my life. Fight. You feel me? The better you can fight, the more respect you can get. You know what I'm saying? If I'm in school and can't nobody whoop my ass, I'm thinking I'm getting respect. No, they're fearing you. And they're not fucking with you because they don't, you know what I'm saying? They're not fucking with you on that type of time because they fear you. But you think it's respect. So now we go all the time. This is why the street dude is under the guise of being respected up until his teenage years. You know, you go to prison too. You even get like motherfuckers is really like I heard motherfuckers brag about it. I go to jail and do my time. In today's society, it's different. These young kids are different. They don't do time the same way. They'll snitch on you right now. You feel me? But in there's a different generation where some of them were, I do my time like a G. I do my time like they prided themselves on that. You feel me? Go to jail and they'll come back like, this is something that kind of got me. I went to college the same time one of my homies went to prison. Right? Like my first year back from college, when I came home, it was just like, yo, that's what's up, man. I'm proud of you. But when my homeboy got out of jail, they threw him a block party. You feel me? That shit happens all the time. Motherfuckers get out of jail and we reward them. I get it. The whole thing is, yo, we're happy that he's home. We're happy that he's here. You feel me? Women, I've seen situations where women will say, will hold a man down who goes to jail, but a man who goes to college, she won't do the same thing for. Maybe it's because, okay, there's other women in college that's different. You know what I'm saying? It's different. Or maybe because it's only men, whatever the case may be. But why is it more, I'll hold you down for this, but I won't hold you down for that. Now, granted, times have changed, but I'm speaking from a collective experience because there's still women in these situations now who will stay with a man who goes to jail and hold him down and say, I'm not going to step out. I'm not going to do anything like that. But a man who goes to college doesn't get that. You feel what I'm saying? So back to what I was saying, like I went to college, my homeboy, you know what I'm saying? He went to jail like literally the same year. You feel me? When he came home, they had a party. Oh, welcome back, bro. You look good, man. All of this shit. I came back from college and shit. It's like, yeah. You know, when I'm telling my stories and shit, it's like, I'm bragging. Oh, damn, that's what's up, man. Like, yo, I might have to, like, little crazy shit like that. But then motherfucker like, yeah, man. I had to scrap some niggas down. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker tried, yo, bro, that's real. That's not real. You feel me? But again, that's what our respect comes from. So when we see our little boys and our, growing up and want to do that shit, why are they trying to do it? Because they're seeking respect, because they see what gets respect, because respect is for men, what love is to women. You feel what I'm saying? So now our generations are being developed under this. You feel me? Because now like I said, now they're starting to infuse this whole new masculinity shit. You feel me? Men are, quote unquote, metrosexuals now. Men are embracing this and embracing that. And, I've seen shit where they're like, confident men can be comfortable doing gay shit. You feel me? Motherfucker just did an interview where he talking about some shit about fucking, you could suck a dick twice and not be gay. Fuck? No. Like, you feel me? I grew up in an era where the same old, like, motherfuckers that they will technically be this man's peers. But those same old heads still say pause now. If you say some shit like, if you go to a cookout, I'm like, yo, let me get a hot dog. Pause. You got to put pause on the shit. You feel me? But there's a new cultural shift. There's an attempt at a cultural shift in which you can, theoretically do some gay shit and not be gay. They're saying this is the new masculinity. You feel me? You're getting magazine covers where motherfuckers are wearing dresses and shit. This shit started early though. You feel me? First time I noticed it, like I said in Frail 1. Frail, the first time I noticed it was in 1999, where a running back had a wedding dress on. And it said taking the plunge. And his white coach had on the tuxedo. So we knew who was playing a woman. You feel me? I get it. Motherfuckers like, yo, it's the metaphor, married to the game. No, nigga, it's the metaphor that he's the bitch. I'm not calling women bitches and, in a sense of that. I'm saying, like, that's what the fuck it was. You got this running back in a wedding dress and his coach in the tuxedo. So we know who's playing the man, who's playing the woman. He has the dress on. You feel what I'm saying? But now he's a star running back. You feel me? The kid sees that shit. The young boys see that shit. They see, okay, this is respected. Because motherfuckers, it's respected so much that motherfuckers have justified it. Just by the very line that I've had conversation with motherfuckers was like, nah, it's saying that he's married to the game. No, man, it's a fucking man in a dress. A wedding dress at that. You feel me? So shit like that, it plays its role in the psychology of what we deem masculinity. So now we're starting to fuel our masculinity through that vein of respect. You feel me? And what we're seeing society is respecting. You feel what I'm saying? In addition to that, now we're getting to the point where we're thinking now more on destructive shit. Cause now the respect is, look at all of the rappers now, they sipping lean, popping pills. Motherfucking, gang shit, doing random shit, like destructive shit. Motherfuckers is getting on their cameras, getting on their phones just for social media, and hopping in fucking restaurants and shit, jumping up on the counters, doing all kind of crazy shit. You feel me? Risking their freedom to go to jail. Like, for what? Because it's respected. It's fucking respected. You feel what I'm saying? And, if y'all can hear it, excuse the sound. There's somebody pouring concrete, fixing the driveway and shit. So I'm just giving that disclaimer. If you hear it, I'm already in flow mode and I'm not about to stop and start the fuck over because they out there. So if you hear the background noises, forgive me. It is what it is. But anyway, back to the main point. So this is what we're getting our respect from. You feel me? This is where we're getting our respect from, and this is what we're deeming respect. And there's another point that I really want to address in regards to respect, and this is pretty much probably going to take up the rest of the podcast for today. And it's the battle between respect versus fear, because I talk with a lot of old heads. Elders, old heads, whatever you want to call them. And there's a common theme that they say with these young boys and shit, right? I'm at the cusp. How Cole said, I'm stuck in the middle of two generations. I'm little bro and big bro at once. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm on both sides of the fence and I hear it all. You feel me? But I know the battle between it. So the old heads are on some, the young boys, they ain't got respect. Let me explain something to y'all real quick. There was never respect. Y'all didn't even have respect for your elders. You feared them. Because right after you say there's no respect, you go down a whole fucking tangent where you're talking about, yeah, I used to get my ass whooped. We used to get knocked out. We used to do this shit. Parents stopped whooping them and got soft. Exactly the point. We don't fear that shit anymore. There was never respect. Get that shit clear. There was never respect. But now that there's no respect, there's also no fear. So those young kids don't give a fuck. It ain't that they don't want to. It ain't that they can't. They don't have to. You feel me? But now, the old heads, they want to press that shit of, respect. You got to respect your elders. Respect your fucking youth. You feel what I'm saying? You got to give the kids the same respect. We don't have to, we have to respect y'all, but y'all don't have to respect us. That's the disconnect. You feel what I'm saying? Because respect, that's king shit. You feel me? Fear is tyranny. You feel me? So a lot of us have been led and ruled through tyranny. You feel me? So where we thinking, the kids just ain't got respect. No, you know what I'm saying? Or we had respect growing up. No, you feared the consequences. You feared shit. You didn't respect anybody, and nobody respected you. That's why they invoked fear within your ass. You feel what I'm saying? And now, with all these laws, child abuse and shit like that, yes, with all of those shits, you can't invoke fear in a child. And because you can't invoke fear in a child, you can't assert respect because you don't know how. The only way you feel that you can is you can put respect in the kids to put fear in them at the same time. I was on Instagram and I had made a post and I was talking about fear. I was literally talking about fear and somebody said, so you shouldn't respect. I was like, see, fear and respect is two totally different things. But the fact that you have internalized them as the same shit, that shows where your mind goes. That shows what you deem deserves respect. Fear. That goes back into what I'm talking about with the street life and shit. You feel what I'm saying? We garner that shit as respect when it's really just fear tactics. This is why when motherfuckers is 40, 50 years old, don't nobody want to hear that shit no more. You not a gangster no more. You need to go get your prostate checked. You ain't no fucking gangster no more. Like, we don't fear that shit. You feel me? That's why it's the changing of the guards. But then when you had the real OGs, the real big homies, they can say, hey, yo, calm that shit down. They have respect. They have earned respect. They can talk to the young kids without wilding out. You feel me? So it's like that disconnect, that battle is all rooted in respect. Respect that nobody ever had. We never had that shit because you got to think about it. Look at the upbringing that we have. Look at the generations of shit passed down. We learned our parenting when we was enslaved. You feel me? Now, whether motherfuckers want to say, okay, some of us were African, some of us were indigenous, some of us on the land first. Like I say all the time, I did that shit. We're genetically dominant. You can't refute that shit. You feel me? So whether we're on Africa, whether we were already here, whether we was over in Africa, came over here before Ma'afa, before Christopher Columbus and all of them motherfuckers came over here, and then we stayed over here, and then it's like, either way, we all got. So fuck the bullshit at the end of the day. But anyway, I'll go back to the point. So we learned our parenting from slavery. You feel what I'm saying? What our men had to learn to emulate was the Caucasian slave master who didn't like us. You feel me? You feel me? So we learned our respective parenting from that motherfucker. And we put that shit into our boys, and we cycled this shit all the way down. We never had respect for each other. We never had respect for our fucking sons. We invoked fear in them. And now that fear is gone. They think these young kids is crazy. They're fearless. That's what the fuck the problem is. They're fearless and they're misguided. Because now that very shit that you talking about, yo, I gotta put the respect in. These kids ain't got no respect. You're not able to put respect into them because you're not able. You were not able to invoke any fear in this generation. You feel like you can't communicate with them, like you shouldn't communicate with them. Then you put this disconnect in between, like y'all some high and mighty motherfuckers. No, you're not. You're not. Because the very same respect that you're trying to get me to see as a man, you're not exhibiting in your workplace. You're not exhibiting in the real world. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, I got into it with an old head one time, and he was like, see, that's what's wrong with y'all. They always start off with that bullshit. That's what's wrong with y'all. And it's like, y'all fathers wasn't around. Y'all was raised by mothers and y'all became soft. Like, all right, we'll take that. I told him. I said, my generation to take that. Because the conversation that we had was about, I was joking with the shit. I was like, at this point in my life, I'm pretty much going to be a stepdad. I don't mind it. You feel me? But I just want to be able to have my own kids too. At least give me one baby. You feel me? I don't mind, the co-parent and shit. And the motherfucker gonna say, see, that's what's wrong with y'all young niggas and shit. Y'all always trying to take care of another man's kids. So I'm like, that's what's wrong with y'all old niggas. Y'all always leaving kids to be raised alone. The fuck? Like, I said, the reason why we like this, because we know what it's like to be without fathers. And we have a conscience. We have a heart. And we said, we're not going to put another child through this. You goofy motherfuckers was raised without fathers and then continue to do the shit. You knew what it felt like. We'll get with a woman and say, you know what? I was raised without my dad. I can't. And then get scared. I just didn't know what to do. I didn't have an example. And then shut the fuck up. Because you a bitch in my eyes for that. You feel me? But y'all a whole generation criticizing kids. You feel me? Now, granted, we're grown men. Don't get me wrong. We're grown men. But to y'all, as y'all say, because we're younger than you, y'all are children to us. That's what they said. Y'all are children to us. So when it comes into that dynamic and you talking about we kids to y'all, you feel me? And then y'all asking who raised us. But at the same time, none of y'all stepped in. You feel me? Even if we weren't your motherfucking kids. None of y'all stepped in the motherfucking community. None of y'all stepped in the motherfucking say, you know what? Not only that, none of y'all niggas would actually check the motherfucking peers. You feel what I'm saying? My father was able to get away with the shit because none of his peers would say shit to him. You feel me? But now when I had a conversation with him, it's like, oh, your mom turned me like, she shouldn't have that power to keep you away from your motherfucking kid. Cause that means you powerless in yourself. You feel me? This ain't no animosity. This ain't no shot towards my pops. You know what I'm saying? I forgave him. I let it go and shit. Like when we can communicate, if we can, we'll talk. You feel me? Like I don't hold any bad blood towards him. But I'm speaking for the whole generation. I'm speaking at a whole generation right now. You feel what I'm saying? Because you motherfuckers always talk about, we don't know who raised y'all. It wasn't y'all. It wasn't y'all. You feel me? It take a village, right? That's what we stood on. It takes a village. But now we rather just bitch and complain about the shit. This is why I talk about toxic femininity. And in So Frail 2, I got a specific chapter talking about being catty and argumentative. That is a toxic feminine behavior. Motherfuckers would rather bitch and talk about, oh, these kids ain't got no respect. These kids, as opposed to trying to instill something in them. Because you fear us. That's some bitch made shit. Because you couldn't instill the fear, you feel what I'm saying, for you. Now you mad because we don't respect y'all. Now y'all mad because we don't fear y'all. So y'all feel like, oh, can't nobody tell y'all nothing. You right. Y'all left us the fuck alone. You feel me? Y'all left our mothers alone. You feel me? Left burden. Like, there's a natural inclination. I don't give a fuck how you look at it. Whether you can be whatever letter that you choose to be. You can even be the new letter shit or that MGTOW shit I just found out about. You could be that shit too. And there's a natural inclination in you as a man to be a protector and provider. If you take that shit on your carnal aspect, your carnal basic function of survival, if you put it on your animal state, there's a natural inclination to protect and provide. I don't give a fuck who you are. You can look at a wolf, you can look at a lion, you can look at a bear, you can look at whatever the fuck you want to look at on your natural carnal state, your natural animalistic state. There is a position in you that is to protect and to motherfucking provide. This is innately wired in you as a motherfucking masculine being, as a fucking male. This is in you. You feel what I'm saying? So when you step out of the motherfucking house, you make me tap into that at a younger age. When you leave my mother alone, you tap into that at a younger age. When motherfuckers leave our mothers, our aunties, our grandmas, when they left them alone, they cause us to tap into that shit at a younger age. You feel me? So now you look at the young boys and it's like, what are you gonna like? You know how many fucking tragic stories I hear, you feel me, from my peers, guys that are older than me, things like that, and their number one objective is I gotta help my mama out. The number one reason why they do the shit they do is because they gotta help their mama out. Do you know when that shit started? When they assumed the fucking role as a child. You feel what I'm saying? Because it innately came out of them in survival. Their animal instinct kicked in, and the natural male proclivity to protect and provide came in. They couldn't fucking do it. So you wonder why we don't listen to y'all, because we had to figure out how to do it. So when it goes into, oh, he's selling drugs, he's this, like, I don't give a fuck. If this is how I'm looking at it, this is how I have to do what I have to do to take care of my mama. You feel me? Then don't let them have younger siblings. You wonder why, like, motherfuckers be thinking you just get crazy. Don't let them have younger siblings, because now I have responsibility under me. I haven't even learned responsibility. I haven't even learned this shit. But I have to tap into it. You feel what I'm saying? I have to tap into it. I don't have anybody to go get. You feel me? I don't have anybody to go get. You know? When I was young, I had to learn how to fight. I had to learn how to scrap. Like my brother, he taught me. My brother's the oldest, but my brother had to teach me. He was like, yo, bro, I ain't gonna be around all the time. So you gotta know how to defend yourself. You ain't gonna be always, you're not gonna be able to come get me. You gotta defend yourself. I'm glad he taught me that shit. You feel what I'm saying? I'm glad he taught me that shit. I was listening to a song by Lloyd Banks a few years ago. He was like, I never had a pop never had a son, nobody to go and get, so that's why I never run. A lot of us is like that. You feel me? So now the old heads is looking like, oh, you know, the young boys, they don't respect, no, they don't fear shit no more. Nigga, we've been doing this shit on our own for so long. It ain't like it was how your father may have left you. You feel me? Because that generational shit starts to get younger and younger. You feel what I'm saying? Some of the fathers, you know, of the older generation, when I talk to them, yeah, my pop left when I was like 11. My pop left he left when you were a teenager. He left when you knew him. Some of us never met the motherfucker. You feel me? Some of us never met the motherfucker. So there's a whole duality within us. Our masculine side, our man side, the half of the genetics that help create us from this motherfucker that we can't even tap into because he's not there. We don't even know where to begin. You feel what I'm saying? We don't even know where to begin. So yeah, we don't respect. We don't have the respect and we don't have the fear because nobody ever had respect. You feel what I'm saying? Nobody ever had the respect. So that's where that battle comes in. And that's where that differentiation comes in between the old heads and the young kids. Like, you feel me? They don't fear y'all and y'all can't put any fear in them. But it's also the other way around. Y'all fear them. Fear them so much you can't even talk to them. You can't even speak life into them. You can't even go into them and say, hey, look, man, you wildin'. Get your shit together, yo. Because you afraid of the backlash. Nigga, fuck you, old head, man. I'll fuck you up. I do this shit. All right, that's why I don't talk to the youth. That's why, because you're not trying to talk to them. You're trying to talk at them. You feel what I'm saying? I'm still young myself, but I can get through to the kids. I get through to them all the time. I know how to relate to them. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, I can also get through to the old heads. I talk to you motherfuckers too. You feel what I'm saying? It's like when I'm talking to them, but when I'm talking to the old heads, y'all never want to take accountability or responsibility for the shit. Because it's easy to say, well, those weren't my kids. Or it's easy to say, that ain't had nothing to do with me. That's the fucking problem right there. Everything ain't got nothing to do with y'all. So if everything ain't got nothing to do with y'all, shut the fuck up about the conditions. Don't critique shit that you ain't want to help. Stop bitching about shit that you say don't concern you. Because the shit's gonna concern you. You know why? Because you're gonna have a daughter. You got a daughter, you got a granddaughter. And guess who the fuck she's gonna get with? The very motherfucker that you not planting any seeds into. The very motherfucker that you critiquing, talking about, well, I don't know, like y'all niggas is wilding, cause y'all young, y'all fathers ain't raised y'all, whatever the case may be. Guess what your daughter's gonna get with? You know why? Because her father grew up and she knows you as the passive person. She don't know you as the man who ran the streets. She don't know you as that person. So what she's going to look for, she's going to look for masculinity. Where she's going to find it? In a street edge dude. This is why women get with street dudes from the jump when they're young. That's why they like the fucking bad boy, because the masculine essence exudes. They don't like the intellect. They don't like the nerd. They don't like that person until it's respected when you get to college, because that street life, that street edge, that's masculinity in the flesh, bro. It's just misguided. It's just misguided. You feel what I'm saying? Women like to feel protected. You feel me? They like to know that a motherfucker can protect them. They like to know that they can feel safe. I was just talking about this in a previous podcast. They like to know that they can feel protected and safe. They feel safe as fuck in front of a street dude. You feel what I'm saying? Because he's fearless. He don't give a fuck. He ain't got shit to fear. And the reason why we ain't got shit to fear is because without that respect, we ain't had shit to lose. We ain't had shit to lose. You feel what I'm saying? And because we ain't had shit to lose, fuck. You feel me? A motherfucker gotta kill me. You feel me? Because that respect ain't there. You feel me? Just like we preach to have self-love for our girls. You feel me? We gotta preach self-love, self-respect for our boys. You feel me? As the understanding that respect is for men, what love is for women. And don't forget to take a moment to go get your exclusive merchandise from Just Scenes merch. At Just Scenes, each piece is specifically crafted with positive imagery and symbolism. From the titles and designs to the descriptions, each style gives you something to feel great about. With everything from hoodies and tees to coffee mugs and tote bags, we have something for the entire family. So be sure to get yours today. Find us on Instagram at Just Scenes merch and get your merchandise right now. All right, man. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wind down on that one. You know, I get passionate with the shit. That's why I said respect is my favorite chapter. It's one of my favorite chapters. It's one of the ones that I really like writing, because I feel as if as black boys, that respect factor isn't there. I know I in that passion I kind of got all over the place, but I kind of hit all my points still nonetheless. But it's the reality, yo. It's the reality that our black boys are facing. Like, we're only going to get respect from the medium of being an entertainer or some shit, being an athlete. But it's like the quintessential point of masculinity is intelligence. But we're not getting respect through that. So those two mediums, like, that means we're not going to be respected as masculine beings. You know, masculinity is rationale. Masculinity is the spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment of the essence of analysis and deconstruction. You feel what I'm saying? I'm losing my inability to rationalize. I'm losing my inability to analyze and deconstruct, and I just do random, dumb, destructive shit. You feel me? Under the guise that, you know, I'm being manly. Manliness has become the face of masculinity. Therefore, that's what we strive to get our respect from. Over aggression, rage, all of these things. You feel what I'm saying? And now they're repainting what manliness is under the guise that they're changing masculinity. The new masculinity is to act as a woman, carry yourself as a woman. Be in touch with your female side, not feminine side, your female side. Act like a woman. You feel what I'm saying? And that takes away the essence that we have as men. You know, but we're respected for doing that shit. You know, we're respected for doing that shit. We're respected for destruction. We're respected for buffoonery. We're respected for all of that shit. But we're not respected for the things that we naturally are. And respect should not be earned. It should be defaulted, because if it's defaulted, then it's infused and it's enhanced. If I already have it, it's enhanced. It's the same principle. As I said, respect for men is what love is to women. If in the beginning I instill self-love in my daughter, it's harder for her to get finessed when she gets older. You know, if as a father, I'm telling my daughter that you're beautiful every day, when she hears she's beautiful from another man, it's not going to startle her. It's not going to be something that she holds near and dear. You feel me? When I was young, I never forget, I was 16 years old and I was talking to this girl and I was flirting. I didn't know the significance of the impact with this. You know, I was, talking to her and I was like, yo, what's up, beautiful? And I got her phone number and everything like that. She said, I never had a man call me beautiful before. You dig what I'm saying? Shit like that is what it is. So how many of us never really got respect? How many of us were never respected? Yeah, we instill fear in motherfuckers, under the guise that that's respect, But like I said, that shit wears off. Fear only lasts for as long as you can be vibrant with it, I'm not gonna fear no 40, 50-year-old motherfucker no more. I fuck you up. The fuck? Now, I don't know disrespectful shit. I don't want you to think I'm disrespecting the elders or anything like that, because I got the utmost respect for the elders. I'm speaking in the principal's perspective. If, see it all the time in the drug gang. Old head come back from prison and shit. He tried to take the block back. Bitch, you can't have it. You feel me? The young boys will put him in a box. You feel me? The young boys will put him in a box. I'm like, nigga, this ain't your block, motherfucker. Like, you don't have it anymore. You're not 22, 23 years old anymore. But we're afraid of that shit anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because we were 7 and 8 years old when you was out here running the block. We running the shit now. You gonna sit your old ass down. Stay in the fucking house. Because there was never respect. There was fear. You feel me? There was never respect. There was fear. And I apologize now for all of the sounds in the back. I hope everything was still coherent. You were still able to get it. I try to beat the rush on that shit, but I can't control when the motherfucker was coming. But anyway, yeah, that's where our level of respect is, our lack of respect, and that's what is a quintessential piece for our masculinity's definition. What we're able to sustain it. Like the old heads, they don't talk to us, they don't fuck with us. You feel me? Therefore, we don't fuck with them, because at the end of the day, we're children to them. You feel me? When you peel back the layers and you put the time brackets in, we're still children to them. They still can't teach us shit. Why should we respect that? Why should we respect that? And all they do is want to talk behind our backs about the shit. They don't want to address us. And then when they do address us, they say, well, that's why I can't talk to y'all, because y'all, yes, we're angry. Yes, we're frustrated. Yes, we're mad. Yes, we're fucked up. We're all of that shit, because we're dealing with shit that we shouldn't have had to deal with. You feel me? You don't know what it's like to be powerless for a long time. And then when you finally get that power, you don't know what to do with it. You feel me? Having to become a motherfucking father, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. Now, granted, I know women who have raised their sons in, single parent homes say, yo, I never put that responsibility on him. Regardless of whatever responsibility you put on him, innately it came out of him. I have to protect my mother. I have to be there for my mother. I have to do whatever I can possibly do. So he'll sell drugs. So he'll do what he has to do because he can't get a job. You feel me? He's too young. You feel me? Like I said, my pops left. I was 4 months old. My pops left. I met him for the first time when I was 11. You feel me? But like the day I turned 13, I was trying to find a job. I didn't know why I was doing the shit. I get a little bit of money and shit. Like then when my pops did start sending child support, I was probably like 11. I was probably like 10 or 11 when he finally did start sending child support. But it was some bullshit ass check. It was like $100. And me, my brother, and my sister, we split it 3 ways. But I would save that money. And then I would always be like, yo, Mom, you got gas? Mom, you like, that was innately in me. You feel me? Because that is the natural proclivity of a man. That is the natural proclivity of a masculine essence. It comes out by itself. So now, this shit comes out, you feel me? And I can't do shit about it. What was it? In Tupac's song, Dear Mama. He said, and even though I sell rocks, it feels good putting money in your mailbox. You know why the fuck that shit felt good? Because I'm finally able to help you. I'm finally able to protect and provide, to do something that I fear, to do something that I'm powerless to know that, you feel me? You're the adult. But if I hear a noise, you're probably more scared than I am. I can feel that shit. You feel me? I can feel that shit. You dig what I'm saying? And that's what we're dealing with. So The old heads, like, we don't, right? That's why we don't respect y'all. We can't. Because as they say, respect is earned. It's earned. You feel me? I can't default respect to an adult. I can't. You feel me? Because it's like, you watched all of this shit happen. And you no, like I said it before, we can complain and bitch about spilled milk all day long, but somebody got to clean it up. There's a whole generation, several generations of motherfuckers. There's milk on the floor. There's milk on the floor. I didn't spill it though, but I didn't spill it. My dad spilled the milk. My dad spilled the milk. His dad spilled the milk. All right, yo, somebody got to wipe it up because we can't have another generation of kids saying, yo, it's milk on the floor. You feel me? We can't have that shit no more. This shit is crazy. This shit is nutty. Like, this shit has to stop, bro. You feel me? So, I don't want to go too much deeper on that shit, like, because like I said, this is my favorite chapter, man. This shit mean a lot to me. This shit, because it's like, I see what having respect would do to masculinity. And I see what not having it will. And I look at the world. I look at the functions of masculinity that are going on right now. And the root cause of all of this shit right now is respect. What's going to get me respect? You feel me? For every time you hear women, bashing men, on one aspect, they'll give a yes to the homosexual man who was trying to take their spot. So it's like, as a man, I'm like, yo, they respect that shit. I'm not saying shit off the wall like that, as if that's what encourages it. But at the same time, it's like, what our women respect. I'm gonna end with this, because it goes back into respect is for men, what love is to women. What our women respect is what we will emulate, and what we love is what our women will emulate. So with that said, as always, you can follow me on my main page, _just_sing_. You can be sure to follow the podcast at Just Sings Podcast, at the Just Sings Podcast. Get my merchandise at the Just Sings merch page. If you're trying to transition to the plant-based lifestyle, visit the Hitting the Raw program. Also get the book Hitting the Raw, Living the Raw Plant-Based Lifestyle for Life. Be sure to get my books, So Frail, The Reality, The Black Male Masculinity, and So Frail 2, Toxic Femininity. And support the podcast, fun, so we can keep, things running and everything, and expand and move forward and everything. If you fuck with the message and shit, I accept donations, I accept tips, but I mainly like shares. I just want people to hear a lot of the shit that's going on in the world and what we're actually dealing with. So with that said, I will see you all in the next season. Not next season. I'm just starting. I will see you all in the next series. Hopefully this was engaging. Hopefully you fuck with it. As always, live, love, laugh. Go do something productive. Kiss your babies. Hug somebody. Tell them you love them today. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.